Thank you. Thank you.
Go, take it away.
All right. So here to present really quickly Snips, talk about the growth of the industry that we're trying to attack and also the company. So Snips, the problem, the challenge, the market that we're addressing is this one that's growing just absolutely exponentially, 3 times compounding every single year, and that's the edge computing devices. So these are the devices that there's a whole centralization into the cloud, but in parallel, what's really interesting is that there's a whole expansion of all the different IoT devices, both for consumers, for industrial groups, that are exploding on the edge. So that means the big challenge for those devices is that a lot of them lack keyboards, screens, in some cases even mice or mouses. So how do we interact with some of those devices? Well, the way Snips is addressing that problem is through voice. So we provide an end-to-end voice platform to help make the technology and the burden of interacting with those devices disappear.
4 minutes less.
Now, the other challenge with those devices is, we've heard in the news recently also, is that we run into privacy issues. A lot of those devices have microphones. Some of those microphones stream whether or not the designer's meant for it, but even if there's a bug, they stream those audio signals 24 hours a day to someone else's servers. So that's the second main challenge that we're addressing, is that we're using voice to make technology disappear, but in a way that gives control back to the companies that need a voice controller. That means that it's an independent voice platform, recognition and understanding, but that allows companies to incorporate voice, but keep their brand identity, their data, and especially respect their end user privacy. Now, how do we go about addressing that explosion of connected devices, right? Well, we use an accelerant that's in the news lately quite a bit, artificial intelligence. So on the artificial intelligence side, that is how really we're reducing the friction between the humans and the machines, especially in the interaction using voice. So we're using artificial intelligence to essentially dope our assistant and train it in depth so that we can interact naturally with the device using our natural language and not just keyword sets. And so that's a little error on the screen, but that's Snips in a nutshell, and happy to talk about the growth of the company and the growth of the industry that we're attacking.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Stephen. I really appreciate it. Please. So next up, he spent his past 7 years as CEO of Cosmotech. Here is Hugues de Bantel. Please, come up.
Hi, everybody. What I'm going to talk about today is a radical transformation in the way CEOs, C-levels are going to make decisions on their most critical, complex problems. Well, when faced with complex issues, what companies do usually is try and break them down in silos, in smaller problems, and then try to fix these problems, hoping that by fixing these 100 small problems, they're going to fix the overall complex issue. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. At Cosmo, we think differently. We believe that what you need to do is to model and simulate complexity, not silos. And by doing that, you can actually come up with holistic views, real holistic views that you can share with the CEOs and that they can now use to anticipate the cascading effects of their decisions on the overall system at stake. Let me give you an example of that. Imagine that you are the CEO of RTE, for instance. RTE is the largest European electrical transmission system operator. What RTE CEO does is making decision on 2 billion euros of investment on maintenance and operation every year. Well, by using Cosmo augmented intelligence solution, what they can do is actually anticipate the cascading effect of their decisions on the overall network, and therefore reduce risk, improve the bottom line, and avoid conflict of resources on the overall network. Now, we started to duplicate this type of application for different verticals. So we are mainly focused on critical infrastructure for now, and we are now applying it to other verticals ranging from life sciences to the insurance field. So what makes a real difference at Cosmotech? Well, first is our platform. What we've been building is an augmented intelligence platform that can be used to model and simulate any complex system. Second is our unique team of complex system modelers and simulators that we've been gathering in France at the center of Europe, and these guys come from all over the world. Third is a network of partners, and we are leveraging this network of partners to actually start selling our solutions and duplicating our solutions globally. Yeah. So just to finish, we'll be kicking off our Series B fundraising next year. We are anticipating a double-digit million euros Series B next year, and this will be mainly to actually sell our solutions through partners and to go globally with our solutions. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Hugues. So again, we'll get a sense from the audience. What questions? Anything for the superstars here? Any questions? If not, I will quickly turn and ask you, hopes for the future. This whole conference has been about vision and turning it into reality. What were your dreams? What would you hope in 10 years' time that your companies can be doing? We'll start, Hugues, with you and then move on to Stephen.
Well, what we've been developing is a platform and a methodology that is called augmented intelligence that can actually be applied to many different problems and some of the major problems faced by humanity. So what I'd like to see is Cosmo addressing many of these issues, whether it's for critical infrastructure, for smart cities, for life sciences, and there are many fields where we could apply the technology. So we are focusing first on critical infrastructure, as I said, but we can expand beyond that, and our dream is to expand the technology beyond that to solve some of the, as I said, some of the most critical humanity issues.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, so for us at Snips, really the mission is saying that AI, voice, and privacy are not mutually exclusive, right? So we want to prove that we can provide an independent voice solution to companies and ultimately consumers without them trying to sacrifice either their data or their privacy to get a voice interface into their products. So if we can do that at scale in the next 5 to 10 years, I mean, that is really what we're after. That's
a dream worth shooting for. So again, we've got a group out here. They're potential partners, investors, customers, suppliers, a whole host. If you have a pain point, what would you wish for? What bit of support could you ask? Would you want to crowdsource? We'll turn with you, Stephen, and then ask you.
Okay. Yeah, for us, being a smaller company compared to the Siemens, the Bosches, all the big stands out there, is really is to ask for as much friction as possible from the big corporations and innovative companies such as ourselves, right? Especially in Europe, where sometimes, and I speak as an American lost in Paris, but sometimes where you have risk averseness for the big corporations because they like the innovative side of a startup, but then they also want to be reassured that you're going to be around for 5, 10, 20 years to support the product. But there needs to be give on both sides, right? We'll sacrifice some money up front, but they need to sacrifice some of that risk averseness and just go for it. And then they get an innovative product inside their stack tomorrow, as opposed to waiting 5 years.
Well, there's plenty of big companies that cut products, so they're not around for 5 years, so that's not being supported. But yourself, Hugues, what's your wish? What was the pain point you wish these people to help you with?
Well, I've got this one, obviously, as a startup as well. And I must say that that's a major issue, really working well with a big corporation. We are starting to do that really well, but there is, very often they come to you with a fantastic vision of a very fantastic partnership that we could do together. But I must say that on the execution side, there is still a lot where they could improve. So that's certainly one of the things we'd like to see happening. Second is really, we need funds to support our growth very clearly. It's true that, for very disruptive technologies like ours, where really, well, it's deep tech. I mean, you need time to actually bring these technologies to market. We'd like to see more funds supporting these type of companies. We are not all, you know, I would say SaaS models ready to go. I mean, some of them need support to grow their technology, and I think that that's something we need. We need more of these funds to support this type of technologies as well.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you. We're into the final few seconds. So any final question from the floor? Otherwise, I will say, like, our role is to look at the top 2,000 or so corporations, how they invest and work with startups. And what we find is that the 5 crucial things that they're looking for in the entrepreneurs and that they can offer to help with. Not all of them get it right. Obviously, the entrepreneurs are looking for capital. They're looking for HR, help with hiring people. They're looking for customers, product development, and help with an exit at some point in the future. So
and a lot of revenue also.
yeah, that's the customers. That's the bit which really comes through. So I think there is a great opportunity, all you folks out here, to co-create and collaborate. But please join me in thanking Hugues, Stephen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, James.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Great job, guys. Thank you very much.